Two more victims are linked to the Rex Heuermann case. 60-year-old Heuermann is an architect out of Manhattan. 4 bodies were discovered in the glades of Gilgo Beach. They were all restrained with duct tape or belts. DNA evidence from hairs on the bodies, or stuck to tape to bind them, ruled out 99.98% of the population, but not him. The bodies were found around 2011. That puts him in his 40s. That's like pulling on the thread of a sweater. What serial killer do you know that started in their 40s? Most have traumatic childhoods. They have fantasies till their mid-20s. And usually between 25 and 30 they act. 2 types of serial killers: organized and disorganized. Organized, smart, can function in society, usually living a double life. Disorganized, not very smart, don't have a plan, and just decide to kill somebody with a rock at the park. The new charges might be his first couple of victims. One of them happened in '93. One of the bodies is decapitated, post-mortem. So this is an evidence thing, not a fantasy thing. Her arms are also amputated below the elbow. What's different about the 2 new victims? They are posed and left in the open. Found nude, legs spread, and her shirt pulled up. When killers do this, they're sending a message. They're making a statement, like art. Most of his victims were sex workers. This was done to humiliate her. One of the victims was stabbed post-mortem in the groin and abdomen around 20 times. That's rage. It wouldn't surprise me if he had an abusive mother. The second victim of these 2 charges happened in 2003. I don't believe for a second he was dormant for 10 years. They just haven't found him. She is also posed. Now so far, that's the last victim he poses and leaves in the open. Why? BTK is arrested in 2005. Very public on how they did it in the media, and I think he learns. They do another search warrant on all of his electronics, and there's lots of information on how he planned out these killings. He's an architect, planned and organized. He even put in there what he preferred. He was even careful enough not to use tape when he put up his drop cloth. He made a special note to use thumbtacks instead, because of tape residue. A little ironic that his wife's hair and tape ended up getting him caught. Like I said before, I think it's unlikely he took a break. It's possible BTK did, and I'm certain they've already approached him to ask for help. But this is one of the reasons why the states need to have the death penalty, whether you agree with it or not. New York doesn't have it, so why would he come clean about the rest of the murders? He comes clean and does life, or he goes to trial and maybe gets off. If you think profiling violent crimes is interesting, I have a book I can recommend. It's a textbook, so it's expensive. But I took 2 semesters under Dr. Holmes. Like any brilliant person, he's a borderline crazy person. And one of my favorite stories from him is somebody calls his house, his wife answers the phone, asks who it is, and it's Ted Bundy. He gave Ted Bundy his home number. Anyway, if you wanted to know how I profiled the suspect in the Idaho 4 case, that's how. Be aware and be safe.